Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're doing absolutely amazing. So as you can tell from the title, I am moving to Australia and I am also going to be moving there completely on my own. I'm not going with anyone else, I am moving all on my own. Now this is probably going to come as a shock to most people watching this because it's not something I've been speaking about that much. Not that I've been keeping it a secret, but until everything was finalised I didn't really want to tell anyone, and I hadn't really told anyone that I was thinking about it, obviously apart from my family and stuff. Like even my friends are going to be watching this going, what? But yeah, it is crazy, but literally in 6 months I will be going to Australia, and that sentence alone absolutely blows my mind. So I thought I'd do this video as sort of a little bit of an announcement of the move and just a little bit of an explanation as to why I'm doing this move and what I've done so far to start the move. So back way before I met my ex-boyfriend, so we're talking sixth form uni, start of uni period, I really wanted to go travelling. My auntie did a lot of travelling when she was younger, in her 20s and 30s, and I'd always sort of wanted to do it, but I wasn't very confident, didn't know where to start, that type of thing. Anyway, when I met my ex-boyfriend, he'd been travelling before and he loved it, so he wanted to go again, so we kind of had it in mind that we would go together. So we moved in with his parents to save money for travelling and a deposit for a house. But then COVID hit, I was made redundant. I was then using my savings to live, like pay his parents towards us staying there, and you know, food, coming back to see my family, just general things for life that I needed to pay for, and obviously it was just coming out of my savings. I then had to get a job where I was getting paid less money, and it just resulted in a loss of savings on my end. And it just became a situation where we were then going to have to spend longer saving, and my ex-boyfriend really wanted to move out and get our own place. So it kind of ended up being a situation where, because we'd saved a house deposit each and extra, we were going to rent a house up north, you know, trial up there, you know the rest of the story. So I ended up spending the remainder that I had on furniture and stuff for the house, because we had no furniture, and then I got my dream car, because obviously at this point I thought we were set together and this was the start of our life together, and we were looking at buying a house with our deposits. So I pretty much used my savings bar the house deposit by the time he'd broken up with me. So by the time I started getting over the breakup, I started to think about what I wanted from life again, rather than compromising with what we wanted from life. And yeah, although, you know, I did want to buy a house, I was like, you know what, I was going to put travelling on hold to buy a house and settle down. So some point during 2022 I started sitting there and thinking, what are the places I want to go and how am I going to do it? Because obviously now I was paying rent for a house, you know, bills, paying a lot more outgoings, paying for a car. I wanted to find a way where I could potentially do the travelling but not limit the social life that I now had, because when I was with my ex-boyfriend, we lived with his parents, which was hundreds of miles away from my friends and family, so I didn't get to see them very much at all. So coming back and being single, I wanted to spend as much time with my friends and family as I could and do activities that I didn't get to do when I was down south. So I came up with the idea of moving to Australia and living out there on a working holiday visa, and then potentially doing a bit of Southeast Asia on the way back, and maybe even a bit of Europe, depending on how much I could save and how much I could make my money stretch. So that was sort of the idea I had in my head 2022, and when I got my new housemate, it was set in stone by then in my head that that's what I was going to do. Because when she moved in, we obviously discussed how long we wanted this tenancy to be, and we both sort of said a year, and obviously my reasoning for that was because I was planning on moving to Australia, so it kind of worked out really well. So fast forward to January 2023, I finalised my plans in my head then. I'd kind of just been a bit wishy-washy with them, but I finally put it and that I was going to go just after Christmas 2023, so at the very end of the year, so I could have another Christmas with my family and then go and spend New Year in Sydney. And that was set in my head start of this year. I was like, yeah, that is what I'm gonna do. But I still didn't want to announce it or anything like that until I'd got my visa approved and paid for, my flights booked, and well, accommodation for when I first get there, because without them in my head I was like, I'm not moving until I know that I've got them sorted, because really it's just an idea until they're actually booked. So I didn't want to tell people until those 3 things were booked. So over the last few months I've got those things booked. The first thing that I booked actually was the hostel, because I really wanted to do New Year's Eve in Sydney and start off the travelling and the moving to Australia with a bang kind of thing. So I thought, what better way than to do New Year's Eve in Sydney. So I booked a hostel for that, 4 nights I think. Then I applied for my visa and that got accepted pretty much straight away. A tip I used for proof of funds, because you have to prove, I think, that you have at least, I think it's 3,000 British pounds, which equates to about 5,000 Australian dollars. So I actually used my house deposit for that. So I screenshot my lifetime ISA and used that as my proof of funds. So if you are doing a working holiday visa and you're applying for it and you need to prove that you've got the funds, that is something you can use, and that's what I used, and it got accepted completely fine. Then the next thing that I did was book my flights. So I wanted to make sure that I had the visa approved before I actually booked my flights, and I've actually got them for the 28th of December. So I fly out from London Heathrow to Sydney on the 28th of December, so it's literally like 6 months away, and I am nervous, but I'm so excited. And also, great news came out, I think it was the 31st of May. There'd been discussions between Australian government and the UK government regarding changing the requirements for the working holiday visa. So originally, if you wanted to stay after 12 months, you had to do 3 months work in a farm or berry picking. There's a list of specified work that you had to complete to be able to stay and apply for a second working holiday visa. And the same with the 3rd year working holiday visa. You had to have a total, I think, of 6 months specified work to be able to apply for the 3rd year visa. That's completely gone now. They've got rid of the specified work. So the new rules of not having the specified work starts on the 1st of July 2024 and covers people who are already on their first working holiday visa. So my working holiday visa won't start until the 30th of December when I enter the country. So that'll last 12 months from there. So I will be in my first working holiday visa when that rule comes into play, meaning I don't need to do the farm work. I can apply for a 2nd year and a 3rd year without having to do that work, which is amazing because it now means I can stay longer. Because originally I was only able to stay 12 months and then I'd have to leave. So who knows what's going to happen now, because you know what I mean, I could get there after like a month and here I want to come home. That makes me really nervous, and the thought of it makes me really nervous, but I'm so excited. So yeah, so that is my announcement. I'm so excited, literally, and I'm so glad I've done this video because I don't know, it just feels nice to let people know. And yeah, I mean, some of you watching may be from Australia, so if you are, drop me a message on Instagram because it'd be nice to know people before I go out. But yeah, it's so exciting to be sitting here thinking in 6 months time I'm literally going to be starting this completely new massive chapter of my life, and I have no idea how it's going to play out. It is so exciting and so nerve-wracking at the same time. But thank you guys for watching. I hope you stick around for future videos because, as you can imagine, there's going to be Australia videos coming up, and especially when I go out there I will be obviously filming vlogs and updates. And obviously if any of you guys watching have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. Literally ask away, because it's always nice to get someone else's opinion or help with these kind of situations. So yeah, please don't be afraid to drop me a message. But yeah, thank you ever so much for watching guys, and I hope to see you here for my next video.